Shaddoll Dogmatika, YouTube, it's here, 16-0, and I think it's at least high rogue or top tier, or tier 3-ish. Shaddoll Dogmatika is really, really strong. We're going to talk about the deck and how I think this deck really pops off. Yeah, so let's talk about it as a whole, and yeah, I'm going to discuss to you most of the Dogmatika cards. The Shaddoll cards I'm not going to go heavily into. If you want to see more of that, check my video that I'm going to leave in the description below. Complete Shaddoll guide will teach you everything you need about Shaddolls. Also, I have a guide on Duel Links meta, which I will link in the description below, that teaches you about Shaddolls. It teaches you about Dogmatika. I was way ahead of it, the Dogmatika Shaddoll combos. So if you want a written description of this, don't look at the deck list, look at this deck list, because that deck list is out of order. Please, look here, okay? And also, don't mind my 100 misspellings of Ecclesia, okay? So, please, okay, thank you. Let's go over the deck list. Alright, first of all, we run 3 Riliona. This is, if you don't have 3 and you're on a budget, you can get away with 2. 2 is fine. The same thing I say with Ecclesia. On my main account, I have 3, so I would play 3. But if you have 2, 2 is completely fine. 2 is okay. You can run 2. It's not going to kill you. It just be a little less consistent. You see the dogmat pile, but overall, running 2 is okay. So we're running 3 Riliona to search our Magistic Invocation. 1 Fleur de Lis, 1 Shaddoll Beast. Again, sent to the graveyard, draw a card. On field, draw 2. On field effect, special summons 1 from the deck when flip summoned. Yeah, so when flip summons 1 from the deck and face up or face down. When sent to the graveyard, summons 1 out of the deck and face down. Dragon pops spell or trap when sent from deck to the grave. On field, flips bounces the Shaddoll. Bounces a card your opponent controls to the hand. Squamata on field destroys a monster your opponent controls. Man-eater bug. When sent to the graveyard, sends a Shaddoll card from deck to grave. That can be any spell or trap. Hedge on field, flips up, adds a Shaddoll spell or trap from deck to end. Sent to graveyard, allows you to add a Shaddoll monster from deck to end. Genius is very unique. When sent from deck to grave, can negate the activated effects of an opponent's monster. When on field, when flipped up on field, can make your Shaddoll monster unaffected by monster effects this turn, except its own. Hound, when sent from deck to grave, changes the battle position of a monster. And when on field, will add a Shaddoll card from grave to hand. Owl Shaddoll Fusion is quick play fusion that summons from hand or field. Magistic Invocation, again, just the fusion spell. Okay, and Resh summons a Shaddoll from graveyard on field. In graveyard, changes the battle position from face up to face down, or face down to face up, depending on what you have. Alright, now that that's covered, let's talk about the Dogmatika engine. So first is Ecclesia. A little bit of an introduction. Let me turn off this rank thing for you guys so it's a little bit easier for you to see. Okay. So in a little brief introduction to Dogmatika. So if you don't know what Dogmatika does, basically Dogmatika is an engine that allows themselves to special summon themselves while your opponent controls or you control a monster that was, well, no, I shouldn't say that. Well, yes, I should say that, but let me rephrase this. Dogmatika is an engine that kind of like punishes special summoning from the extra deck. Yeah, think of like anti-extra deck summoning, and it gains benefits based on that. So like when your opponent summons monsters out of the extra deck, you're going to get benefits on it. Kind of like how you resolve Shaddoll Fusion and you gain benefits based on them summoning from the extra deck. Yeah, so Dogmatika tries to punish your opponent from summoning the extra deck. That's kind of what it does. Okay, and it gains different effects based upon, you know, extra deck things. And sometimes they send decks from extra decks. Sometimes they send cards from the extra deck to their respective graveyards. Or just to your graveyard, depending on the card. Okay, so Dogmatika Ecclesia has 3 different effects. And her first effect is she can be special summoned when there's a monster on the field that was special summoned from the extra deck. So if you have like gravity control on the field, which you're going to see in the replays, you're going to special summon your Dogmatika Ecclesia. Then you can search your Fleur de Lis or your trap. So that gets into the second effect. If a monster is special summoned from the extra deck is on the field, you get to special summon Ecclesia. So if you have a gravity control on the field, or they have a monster on the field and you're going second, you can special summon her. And then on summon, can add a Dogmatika card from deck to hand. Third effect is that while she's on the field, she cannot be destroyed in battle with a monster special summon from the extra deck. So on the field, if they have a monster of their own that wants to attack over it, then your monster won't be able to be destroyed in battle that turn. So very, very good by a monster that has special summon from the extra deck. I shouldn't even say that turn, just period. So if they have something like, I don't know, Nightmare Phoenix, they won't run over it. If they have like a Unicorn, they won't run over it. If they have a Dingirsu, they can't attack over it. If it was special up for the extra deck, not if it was like revived from the graveyard with Symbol. So keep that in mind. Okay? So very, very good. And the one restriction she has is for the rest of the turn, after you summon her and activate her effect, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. So make sure you use Ecclesia at the end of your combo, which you're going to see in this video. Next, we have Dogmatika Floor Deletes United. So for monsters on the field to special summon from the extra deck, you can special summon them. Then immediately negate a monster's effects that are on the field. So if you special summon him, he gets to come out and negate a monster's effects on the field if you have a Dogmatika card in your field. Now, it's very important. Make sure you have Ecclesia on your field, otherwise this is not going to work. You have to have another Dogmatika monster in the field. And then you can special summon them from the hand and negate the effects. Now, keep in mind, if you do this, this is one whole effect, meaning that if they have a monster on their field, if they go to activate their monster effect and say it's like your turn, right? And they go to activate their monster effect and you choose to negate it, given that you have an Ecclesia on the field, then they can't chain like effect Veiler to that. Okay, that doesn't work because this activates and resolves in the hand. It's like Sog the Floor and it's like Wind Witch Eye spell. So if you activate and resolve this in the hand, they won't be able to chain like an effect Veiler to this because this activates in the hand, not on the field. Or Chalice it. Okay, so keep that in mind. This will already be resolved in hand. So keep that in mind, okay? So secondly, another thing about Floor Deletes, like I said, is make sure you have a Dogmatika on the field when you do this. And this is a hand trap. It can be activated on your turn or your opponent's turn. Okay? So second, when your Dogmatika monster declares an attack, all Dogmatika monsters gain 500 attack, which is really relevant. Because if you could swarm the field with a bunch of Ecclesias, you can make it very hard for your opponent to kill you. Alright. Because then you'll have 2 Ecclesias that can be destroyed by battle with something special up in the extra deck. And you can start putting a lot of pressure on your opponent. Dogmatika Punishment. So Punishment is a very powerful trap card. Target one face-up monster opponent controls. Send one monster with equal or higher attack from your extra deck to the graveyard. And if you destroy that monster to the end of the next turn, at this card resolves, you cannot special summon a monster from the extra deck. So really, really relevant. Dogmatika Punishment is a pop. So you send your Shaddoll monsters from the extra deck to the graveyard. They will trigger their effects to add a spell trap back from your graveyard. So you can send your Construct to add back a Resh and then get a pop on the field. Now, another card I was considering adding, and I can go over this, is something like, where is this? Yeah, something like Fossil Warrior Skull Knight to get an extra pop. So, again, you can banish this card from the graveyard to get, target a monster on the field and destroy it. So these are cards that you can even throw in as well. So, like this, and where's the one that pops spell and traps? I think it's yeah, this one, Skull Wagon. So this could destroy a spell trap. So these are other options you could throw in like a fossil package to try to deal with it. But overall, this is really, really strong. Dogmatika Punishment, and you could search this off Ecclesia. The only huge downside to Punishment is that until the end of your next turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters with the extra. Make sure you do not, try to not, if you don't have to activate this on your turn, because then you'll have to wait a whole 2 turns, essentially your opponent's turn, and then your turn again. You won't be able to special summon. So try to activate this on the opponent's turn, have a Schism set up, so that way you can, that way if you have a Schism set up, then even though on your next turn you can't summon from the extra deck, the turn thereafter you will be able to. So like on your opponent's turn, you'll have a Schism set up and you'll be able to do that. And then you can add back Resh Shaddoll Incarnation with your trap, and then you can with your Shaddoll monster that you send on Punishment, and then you can add back your Resh and then combo it that way. And then use Resh to summon from the graveyard, because Resh summoning from the graveyard is not affected by Punishment. So keep that in mind. You are not locked by Punishment by using Resh's effect in the graveyard. So really, really good. Now again, Also, if you have 3 Ecclesia, drop 1 punishment, play 3 Ecclesia. I would run 1 punishment, 3 Ecclesia at that point. Okay? So, I'm running 2 punishment because I only have 2 Ecclesia. Now, next I'm running El Shaddoll Shekinaga. The Shaddoll fusion. So 3 constructs. So construct on summon sends the Shaddoll from deck to grave. When it battles a special summon monster, destroys it. Also, like I said, all of them in the graveyard add a spell trap from deck to grave to end. Shekinaga negates a monster effect on the field and destroys it by discarding a Shaddoll card. Wendigo can protect the special summon monster in the field from battle. One monster on the field from battle from a special summon monster. Unicorn, Phoenix, Gravcon, and Artemis. Okay. To the replays. Now, in the replays, I'm not going to go over. I'm going to be going over in depth. There's not going to be a loud music like that happens. Okay. Oops. Alright, it's not going to be like... It's not going to be like a loud music that happens. Ignore that deck list. Trust me, ignore that deck list. It's the Demon ones. Now, some of these are after the 16-game win streak, so you may see some losses here, but that's because they were after the 16-game win streak. Oh, this one's the Shaddoll mirror. Let me save this one. Let me get this one saved for you guys. Okay. Alright. Here we go. No, not friend duels. Shaddoll, Dogmatika, here we go.
You will be my duel.
Now I do make a misplay in this duel, but I'll show you what we could have done. We do end up winning this, but
I activate my monster's effect.
cut the voice acting. Alright, so he goes ahead, he's going to set his headshot. Now, I personally don't agree with this play in the mirror because this loses a lot of resources. I know why he did it. It's good because it gives you a lot of setup, but at the same time, the problem with it is that you use a lot of constructs from the extra deck and you could lose the grind game in the long run, but it's not a bad play what he did, it's just that, you lose a lot of resources, so you gotta be really careful with this. And he didn't have El Shaddoll. If he had El Shaddoll to back this up, it would have been a little bit better for him to do this play, because then he would have not had to commit to Winda with Schism rather than use a construct to commit with Schism. Alright. If you're going for the super aggressive approach. Alright, so he fusion summons Winda. This is correct. Summoning Winda is always good, but you want to summon it with El Shaddoll rather than Schism if you can. Because El Shaddoll would allow you more variability to use Schism to make a construct and then keep rest for the grind, but okay, anyway. Him keeping Gravcon in the field, very dangerous. He has no way to stop us from going Shaddoll Fusion. We're going to go ahead and pop the Schism. That's always what you want to do. I'll show you where the misplay comes in. I forgot we used Dragon's Effect already. Just for those in mind, Shaddoll effects are hard once per turn, so keep that in mind. So if you use a Shaddoll like effect in Graveyard, you can't use the one in the field, so it's 1 effect per turn. That's what I'm trying to say. Alright, so we attack, but I do manage to come back here. He bounces. I want to force the dragon here. He summons out back the construct, sends the El Shaddoll fusion. Now he sets, and now he goes to battle. We Dogmatika punishment. Pop this construct, so we're going to force it. Now we activate our construct in grave because we sent it off Dogmatika punishment, and back the Resh, and we take the 6. Now we can go for our Dogmatika engine. Since there's a monster special summoned on the field from the extra deck, which Winda is, we could special Ecclesia, adding Flor Delis. Now we can special summon Florida. Oh, one other thing. I didn't special Ecclesia at first. I normaled it. You're going to see me special summon the second Ecclesia afterwards. The reason why is because I don't want to be locked in the window before I summon Florida. So the correct play is to normal summon here first, which is what I did. Now we special summon. Now we can go full aggression with the Dogmatika engine. We use Florida to boost them up by 500. All your Dogmatika monsters. And now we force attack. He had a second dragon. So he's gonna be forced to bounce the back row, and now we make him clear a board full of monsters. Okay, so he's gonna follow up with a set. He still has that Schism, so Schism's gonna go ahead, summon out another copy of El Shaddoll Construct, sending Fleur-de-Lis from deck to grave. Dragon's gonna pop our back row. Now we do this. Now let me explain. I want to force him in the construct here, because if I force him in the construct, it's gonna make Shaddoll Fusion a lot more live. So he brings back the window with the rest to try to limit my ability to special summon. We go into the construct. This time we're going to activate Hound. We're going to flip up his monster that he set. This is another big misplay on his behalf, because if you set a monster here, it gives me the ability to use Hound to OTK you. So you got to be very careful. Like I said, these small little details of you setting an extra monster could determine the game, because Hound could allow lethal to happen. That's why getting any damage in the mirror is crucial. So now we take advantage of his mistake here, and then going second, winning through Resh Schism. And then we flip up his monster and we go for game. Very, very good. GG. And then we are able to attack over his Riliona for 2k damage. And then that's that with a fact. Okay, next. So that's the Shaddoll Mira. Having Dogmatika gives you the advantage in the mirror, so keep that in mind. Because not only that, it allows you to swarm the field really easily. And Fleur-de-Lis is very good in the mirror because you can negate the construct and swing over it. So keep that in mind. Alright. Going second here, this is Star Seraph. Okay? So this is a top tier deck. He flips up Sage, flips up Scale. Now he goes into Fairy Cheer Girl. Fairy Cheer Girl, draw. Now you're probably saying, but Sean, he didn't make Dweller. I'm going to show you. He's about to. Now, this is where a Shaddoll play, you probably say, uh-oh, how do we beat the Dweller? I'm going to teach you. We end up outgrinding the Dweller. Okay? So you probably go, uh-oh, Shaddoll's in trouble. Got 2 back row and a Dweller. Well, first things first, we're going to force out everything. We're going to flip up our Shaddoll Hedgehog. We're going to add our Shaddoll Fusion. Now, in COG, I also have replays that if you come to my stream, I'll show you. We beat Dweller going second on multiple different occasions with this deck. He flips us down. We're going to just send Schism, because we're under Dweller. There's no need to send a Shaddoll monster here. Unless you already opened Schism, then you have the option to send, like, your Nest Shaddoll Genius. That way you can set up a Sheki Naga later on. If you want to do that, that's fine. So he goes and debunks my Fleur-de-Lis, which I'm guessing he's playing this for Leerless. Now we El Shaddoll Fusion, and we fuse into Sheki Naga. I'm going to keep Construct face down, because if I keep Construct set here, then if he destroys it later on, then I have the option to, add back a Shaddoll spell or trap. But you can fuse it off if you wanted to keep another monster in the field. But I'd rather do it this way. Keep in mind, we still have Punishment for Interruption. Now we force him to skill off his Vespianato. Now we activate Dogmatika Punishment. Now what's also important is if you have Sheki Naga on the field, Dogmatika Punishment will automatically liven up Sheki Naga, because we'll be able to add a Shaddoll spell or trap from grave to hand. So we can negate things. Now he goes into Papal Operative, and now he's going to try the Utopia OTK. But what he doesn't know is the first effect cannot be negated. He cannot OTK here because the second effect can be negated. So if he activates us to reduce us, it's not going to be lethal. And remember, even if he didn't misplay and activate here, we still have a Shaddoll Schism in hand. So on the following turn, we'd be able to, on his turn, because the next turn we'd be locked out of the extra deck. On his turn, because we added back Schism, we'd be able to make a Shaddoll Construct, and then Construct would be able to send that Utopia non-target from his field to the graveyard. So even if he didn't misplay, but he doesn't know, he negates, he goes to negate, And then that's that. If he doesn't negate, it's not lethal. And we had a play to even play around his Utopia and also deal with him potentially OTKing us with Star Seraph Sentry at the same time. So, outgrinding the Dweller, going second against Star Seraph. Very good. Beat the bad matchup. Very, very good. Dogmatika Engine also makes it a lot more productive for you going first as well, because Punishment's very good. You can essentially get 3 monster removals in that turn. So you're not aiming for Winda. You might say, oh, why are you aiming for Winda? Here's a replay of when we were at 13. You're not aiming for Winda. You're always aiming for this. Okay, here we bricked against Sacred Beast. Unfortunately, we had to set pass. It goes ahead and adds the Ravaged. Alright, I'm just going to fast forward to this. He didn't, fortunately, have the material to make, or didn't think about it, to make, okay, so now we're going to summon out of the deck. He didn't have the material to make, Pentastag, apparently. But, goes Beast, discards. But, now we activate Shaddoll Fusion. We bait out the Cerulean Skyfire. The reason there I go for Beast is because in a desperate situation where I don't have anything, I probably want Beast more than anything here. I want to draw to multiple cards, not just one. Because it's going to take me multiple cards out the board. Now we go in the Construct. Construct sends Dragon, pops the field. We're going to attack an Amon. Now again, we still destroy the monster by card effect of Construct, because it's special summon. Now, he Tyrant to raids. It doesn't matter if he Ravaged crashes into this. Personally, I think he played this terribly, but I think he had a Pentastag line that he didn't see, but for some reason he didn't go for it. Well, he goes Pentastag. We brick there, so, you know, nothing we really could do on our end, but if he went for Pentastag, he was in a much better spot. Okay. Again, I want to narrate these replays for you so that way you can see what's going on. Alright. So this one is against Pakora. Yeah, not the most intimidating board. This one was not what we were on the win streak. I think this was a Legend 3 rank up. Going into Construct, activating Dragon, which will pop his Zombie World. Always go for Zombie World first. And if they have, like, if they opened up Balderrock already, always go for Shekinaga, because Shekinaga can deal with the Balderrock. He attacks him, we get Beast, we're going to draw. We're going to normal Rilliona for follow-up. Then we're going to Schism. I like the Schism first. And I like to have an extra fusion play in hand, so that way I'm not feel like I'm committed to the Rilliona. I mean, committed to the Schism, because I don't want to just have Schism alone, because if something happens to it, then I'm kind of locked out of follow-up. But now that we beasted into Rilliona, we have more follow-up. Now we just go on the aggressive. We're going to summon another Construct. Both of these Constructs cannot be IDP, because Construct is a fairy, so keep that in mind. Unless they have Zombie World in the field, which he doesn't at this point. So even through an IDP here, we're not afraid at this particular moment. Attack! Attack! Oh, there's the IDP, but like I said, we're not afraid. The Construct cannot be IDP. Dark Hole, that's completely fine. Now, when the Constructs go to the grave, we're going to trigger their effects to add back Shaddoll Spell or Traps. So we're going to take back Fusion and take back the rest of Shaddoll Incarnation. Book of Life is going to go ahead and banish Summon. But we don't care. We're just going to make a Shekinaga and say we win the game. Now, another thing is, let's say you didn't summon a monster. Now, even though the monster summoned off Schism cannot attack, how would we be able to deal with that? Let's say he has a monster, he doesn't have a monster on the field. Well, what we would have did is we would have skilled, put Hound back in the deck. This is a 5-head play that you need to pay attention to. Then what we would do is we'd fusion summon a Construct off of Schism, and then we would trigger Rest Shaddoll Incarnation before Construct resolves. So Construct, Chainlink 1, Rest, Chainlink 2. Flip down the Construct, and then use Construct to send that sent back Hound with the skill, and then Hound would flip back up the Construct, and then it would forget it was summoned off Schism. And it would have the Forget-Me-Not protection, and then you would be able to lethal them through an open board. So keep that in mind. If they have an open field and all you have is Schism, that's what you want to be doing. Focus on Hound to go for game. Okay. Oh, where'd my replays go? Alright, one more. So you can see, how this is all developing. I know I had another one against Seraph. I hope it's saved. Oh, this one I don't want to. This one's not that great. I'm not saving this one. I'm not gonna watch this one. This one's not too great. Let's see if I can find the one with Seraph. Maybe this one's it, or maybe it's still in the. Oh no, this is definitely not it. No, this is definitely not it. Nope. Okay. Let's see if I can find the one with Seraph really quick. Oh, I didn't save it. Duh. There it is. I was like... This is either Seraph or Suship. It was Seraph or Suship. Yep, it's Seraph. There it is. Yep. Okay, here we go. So we're going first. This time I'll show you going first. We're going to flip up Hedgehog. He's going to Valor, which is completely fine. Alternatively, if you don't want to play around Valor, you could just make the construct. You can link this off, keep the rest in the grave. But this is better because then we can, then if he has a Valor, then we can just straight up deal with it and play around it and still get the Schism anyway, which you're going to see. So we Valor's the Hedgehog. We bait him out. Now we're going to fuse off into construct. Now we trigger Beast. Beast will draw us a card. Now, we chain... The way I do this is I chain Beast as chain link 1. Because the reason why is I want to deck in my deck first, then draw. So that way I have the higher chances of drawing into more Dogmatika cards. Then we're going to link off in the Gravcon. Trigger Construct's effect. Add back Schism. Now, a cool play you could do is if you want to draw into Dogmatika cards. And let's say that you already opened a really good hand and a way to get the Schism. Right? So let's say you open up like Wendy plus full Shaddoll combo, right? Like a Wendy plus Shaddoll. What you can do is you can send Schism from deck to grave, add that back with the construct, Wendy summon out something like a Shaddoll Beast, and then you can Beast draw too, so you have a higher chance of drawing into your Dogmatika cards. So keep that in mind. Shaddoll Beast is very useful now. Now he activates Batterian's Battlemore, summons out two dudes, but now we can Schism off, go into our construct, send off his Sage, because Sage can summon from the hand, so we don't want that. Now we Dogmatika Punishment, immediately pop, and he had no other one to extend into apparently. Another thing too is that in that position, I guess he had no other one to extend into. But we want to get rid of as many bodies on the field as possible in that spot. Ideally, there you have a third pop. Ideally, and ideally, you really don't want to leave Gravcon and attack. Although we had no choice because otherwise we're just like vulnerable to Utopia at that point. So yeah, that's potentially a bad play. Like I said, Seraph not our best matchup, but yeah, okay, we did manage to win that one. All right. Anyway. Now, let me go over, I want to go over something really quick in the main deck for Shaddolls before we end the video. We're at 28 minutes in. Ah, dang it. Where is it? Okay. Alright. Here we go. One quick thing about Shaddolls here. Now, I want to talk about the matchup perspective. Alright. So, against Seraph, get as many bodies off the field as you can. Hopefully you open up multiple pops. The ideal situation would be opening up like full combo with Squamata and everything to get like 2 or 3 pops in that same turn. Another good thing, one other thing I want to talk to you about Seraph is going second, try to outgrind the Dweller. That's the best way. Like summon as many bodies and just clear the Dweller and make it more annoying for them to come back. Another thing that I want to bring up, another matchup I want to bring up is Birds. So if you go up against Bird, what you want to do, like Lyraless, is use Wendigo, because Wendigo can send their assembled Nightingale from the graveyard. And you want to put this in attack. Because if you put this in attack, then Recital Starling cannot crash into Wendigo. Well, it can, but it will only deal 200 damage. And that will make it really annoying for them. So the way that and you also want to set as much back row as possible. So if they make Promenade, then it's more annoying for them to like try and hit the right back row for you on Schism. So that's something you really want to think about when going up against something like Bird. Because the problem is that they do have a negate spell. So if we try to go for Winda, they can run the negate spell. We kind of have to see how the build develops. If they don't play the negate spell, then you 100% start going for Winda. But in that case, go for Wendigo. Also, if you have El Shaddoll Fusion, you can make Winda on top of Wendigo. So that's something important. And you can kind of make them go out of the way and go after them that way. If you go up against Speedroid or Windwitch, again, Wendigo is invaluable. Also going second, they're going to likely have Crystal and Clear on the field against Shaddoll. Now keep in mind that Clear Wing will not be able to be destroyed in battle. So the way to do that is what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to try to bait a Crystal Wing negate early. Hopefully you open up like Shaddoll Fusion and you can bait out like a Crystal Wing early and then continue on with your plays after that. Now, is this the final build? I don't know if this is necessarily the final build. You could also, I don't know if it's necessarily the final build. There might be some trimmings that you could add in a few tech cards into the deck maybe, if you wanted to, for like more going second action. But yeah, like I said, I think this deck is really fun. I think this deck can be on the outside in competing. I think it's like a tier 3 deck. I don't think this deck is tier 1, but it's definitely like a tier 3-ish deck in my opinion. Because Shaddoll definitely can do a lot of things that could beat the meta. Again, if you go first in the Windwitch, you're winning that duel automatically. Right off the bat. Well, not off the bat, but it makes it harder. They have a hard time dealing with Winda unless they open up like a Droplet or a Book of Eclipse. But even then, you can like play around that point. And then it gets kind of gets a bit harder for them to deal with Winda. Because you make that and then they go Ice Spell and then they're kind of locked after that point. If they like lead an Ice Spell or something. It gets harder for Windwitch to deal with Winda specifically. And then Time Thief, again, like, they also really struggle to deal with Winda. Also, when they normal summon, I think it's like, it's not retrograde, it's the level 4. And then you can get rid of the level 4, and then they can't summon out of the deck, and it gets harder for Time Thief also going second to Shaddoll. Like, Shaddoll going first gives a lot of the decks in the meta a hard time. The one deck that really pushes through Shaddoll going first, unless you play it right, is probably Birds. But again, Birds, you can, you really want to prioritize Wendigo over anything else in that particular matchup. Okay, so, yeah. Until next time, this is your boy Sean Matrai, signing out. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. I also have we're also going to be doing some Voiceless Voice. If you're into Master Duel, we are clapping with that. I'm going to show you my list in Master Duel when we get to it. But my Duel Links schedule. Shaddoll, we're going to probably be doing that climb back on Friday. So we'll probably continue Shaddoll Dogmatic on Friday. We're probably going to do a little bit of Master Duel tonight. And then tomorrow is the KC Cup Stage 1 climb, which we're going to be doing with Lyra. And maybe a bit of Windwitch mixed in. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Follow me. Subscribe to me on YouTube. And follow me on Twitch. Till then, bye YouTube. Love you guys.